Cyberhype-2 Brain Plagues by the CCRU from Mute Volume 1, Number 18, published September 10, 2000. From Aaron Lynch's Thought Contagion to Seth Godin's Idea Virus, the proliferation of interest in media spin cycles, viral marketing, corporate memetics, and cultural contagion suggests that, in the latest example of nonlinear hype dynamics, the infective model has itself become a craze. CCRU sent its cyberhype correspondent, Cynthia Drummond, who seems much recovered from her encounter with Schwartzian hypnosis, to investigate the phenomenon. Searching for a preliminary definition of cyberhype crazes, Cynthia arranged an interview with the improbably named Dr. Ernst P. Demick, director of brain plague simulation at London's prestigious Centre of Cultural Epidemiology, which has just received a capital injection of 500 million euros to complete its mapping of the human memome. Dr. Demick argues that in the age of unchanged telecommerce, which he equates with the anomalous arrivals out of the virtual, crazes are spreading catastrophically. He cryptically describes crazes or runaway polymedia infections as biomimetic syndromes, functioning as geostrategic operators. They exhibit an increasing contingency of instantiation, whether books, films, games, or trading cards, and involve an ineradicatable element of chance, which makes them impossible to predict. These outbreaks work at various scales, from that of semiotic microparticles, the e-prefix at the suffix.com, to that of the new economy as a whole. According to Demick, in the early 90s, the web was dismissed as a craze. In the late 90s, the same thing happened with e-commerce. These dismissals are the sure sign that something is already going hypernova. In his forthcoming book, Managing the Memome, 2000, Phobos Press, London, Demick explains how economic circuits pass through thresholds of explosive contagion, or outbreak singularities. He cites Abstract Machines CEO Liz Volta, who describes the cybernetic volatility of e-business in compatible terms. Up to a point, it's really exciting. Then it becomes frighteningly crazy. What is increasingly apparent, Demick continued, is that there seems to be an affinity between crazes, infancy, and occult content, as Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness so disturbingly explored. Both Pokemon and Harry Potter played at children's fascination with sorcery and monsters, whilst even the Blair Witch Project, aimed at an older audience, relies on the reanimation of childhood terrors for its principal effects. Increasingly, kids are the cutting edge of this thing, he insisted. It's bound to upset people. Demick draws attention to recent recurrent incidents in South Carolina, where at his regular Jesus flamings of books, CDs, DVDs, and children's toys, evangelical wildman Douglas Frushley has insisted, in his now familiar time-stretched southern drawl, that this craziness has to stop. Frushley has promised to cleanse society of Blair Witchery, Potter occultism, and damned-to-hell Poke-demonism. It isn't a coincidence that these particular product lines took off so shockingly, he mutters darkly. They're aligned with infernal powers. They have allies. Whilst Demick was keen to distance himself from the extremity of Frushley's analysis, he nevertheless seemed to share some of his cosmic paranoia. As his conclusion illustrates, crazes open doors, and as things stand now, no one can imagine what is coming through.